Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. I got a story in last night and just stay with me while I give it to you. Aaron Trust Williams. Trust is just a nickname, Aaron Trust, but his last name is Williams. He and Patrick King were like Bonnie and Clyde. They were thick as thick. They ran together. And when the owner of Club Extreme was murdered, Aaron Trust Williams was picked up by the police along the way, down the road. It didn't happen right away. Now, Aaron Williams and the owner of Club Extreme and Patrick King and some others, they were all friends. They all knew each other. But it was a big take that night. It was the holidays. It was in the new year. And they knew that the owner of Club Extreme was going to be handling a big bag of money that night. And that night, when that popular nightclub owner came out of his club, Patrick King and Williams and some others in the car, they were waiting for him. Dale Hinds. His days, his minutes, his seconds were numbered. I don't know if they intended to kill their friend because, like I said, they knew him. But he ended up, the owner of Club Extreme, ended up being dead. He was 34 years old. He left some kids behind. Okay, he was a young male. Okay, so when that happened, Patrick King was the driver of the car. Patrick King was the driver of the car with a bunch of guys, and they killed the owner of Club Extreme and took off. Now, when the money was being divvied up, it seems as though Patrick King didn't get as much money as he had anticipated. So the close relationship started to unravel because, like I said, these guys ran together thick as thieves, thick, okay? But when Patrick King did not get the money because it's the new year and, they charge an arm and a leg to get into the club and the drinks, everything is tripled, whatever. But he had his mind set on a certain amount that he did not get. But in the meanwhile, they needed to get rid of the car. So he took the car to Gibbons Box in Christchurch and he burned it. Years earlier, Patrick King had taken a stolen car to that same area and burned it. Patrick King is known to the police. Patrick King is a social media personality that you all love because, as I've said before, you seem to have an affinity with criminals and fraudsters. That kind of, you like that. You like that. But anyhow, when Aaron Trust Williams was picked up by the police, months later, he was picked up by the police and they were questioning him. The police knew that Patrick King and Trust were friends. Good friends, buddies. They hung out in the Nelson Street area. They did what they did and hang out. They hung out in that area and they would meet in bars and talk and plan stuff. So the police knew that Patrick King and Williams were very, very close friends. So when they had Aaron Trust Williams in the cell, they went for Patrick King. There are two other guys, but since it was back in the early 2003, you know that your paper and your reporters, they're not good at keeping that kind of information out there, okay? There were no reporters in the court to take a photo of Aaron Williams, nothing about Patrick King, but these are facts. These are the facts, okay? So when they went for Patrick King is said to be able to study situations and he finds some sort of loophole and he will find some way to wiggle out. So by the time they got around to picking up Patrick King had a story to tell on Aaron Trust Williams. And when he went into the police station, he spilled his guts about Aaron Trust Williams. The police held on to Patrick King for a while, but what information Patrick King gave against his best buddy now, best friends, and like I said, they were very close friends with the club extreme owner, the one that they ambushed and killed. All of them were friends, okay? So by the time Patrick King gave the information against Aaron Trust Williams, they let him go. They let Patrick King go. Okay, so Aaron Trust Williams, after being in lockup for a couple days, they found him deceased. They found him deceased in a cell. So is it the police who did it, or was it the betrayal of Patrick King that did it? What made Aaron Trust Williams, a 32-year-old young male, children too, children. He died September 11, 2003. I'm talking about Aaron Trust Williams. He died September 11, 2003. He was 32 years old. 32 years old. So what would make a young person like that take their own life? What would make them do that? Did that happen? Or was it the police that helped? Why was he unalived? Why was Aaron Trust unalived? Don't know, but we do know that the thread that runs through everything is Patrick King. Patrick King. He was put out of a house where he had 2 children from a woman, and he went to live with a family member of the female that he had the kids for. She was an older woman. Her name was Clarissa. Clarissa trusted Patrick King. Her last name, Bartlett. Patrick King lived with Clarissa Bartlett, and she was an old woman. And he had an idea that he would steal her security checks, her old pension checks. And when the lady found out, he broke her heart. Patrick King broke Clarissa's heart because she did not think that he had it in him to forge her signature and go and steal her money. He was put out from that house too. He had to leave that house because she started to talk to her other family members, and this is elder abuse. Elder abuse. So Patrick King is in your news. He finds loopholes. He finds ways to assert himself in your life with all his theatricals, but he is known to the police. There was a report made against Patrick King with regards to, I don't know if it was Simpson Motors or it was one of the car companies in Barbados where Patrick King moved off with a car. Patrick King just pulled off with a car, and they're saying, the person at the car company was saying that that guy studies loopholes. He studies ways that he could get away with things, and he uses things that are not said, things that you would expect that you would know, but they're not said. Patrick King can slip through any loophole, okay, any sort of loophole, and he has so far. He has to this point. Another blogger called him the crime lord of Barbados. He is known to the police. The police have a file on Patrick King from him defrauding the elderly person, elder abuse, from him being a part of the group that killed the Club Extreme owner, from him burning cars and depositing them at Gibbons Bogs, because it not only the getaway car that they used to kill the Club Extreme owner. That's not the only car that he took to that area and burned. There was another stolen car that Patrick King was driving that he took to that area when the heat started to get on him, and he burned it in that area, Gibbons Bogs. Okay, so he is known to the police and he is known to people who are around him. But the nerve of him is probably what keeps him afloat. He has a whole lot of nerve. But I'm telling you, all that inflation, all you need is a pin stick to deflate all of that made up persona, all of that. The wolf in sheep clothing. All you need is a pin stick to deflate all of that ego and all of that inflated personality. Patrick King, the social media personality that gets on his platform and talk about who is giving people AIDS, who has AIDS, the medical files he has, the LLB that he does not have. He has everything except files on himself. He has files on everyone, but he does not seem to have the files on himself. Today, I'm here to tell you, just in case you forgot, that Patrick King was the driver of the car that tracked the Club Extreme owner on that fateful night when he had collected a whole lot of money from that club, and they killed him. They killed him, and Patrick King did not get the money that he was expecting. He was expecting, I guess he was expecting enough that he could probably buy a piece of land, buy a car, go down to Nelson Street and command a whole lot of females. He was expecting some loot that he did not get. He was disappointed. In fact, word has it that he got hardly anything. That's what they're saying, that Patrick King got hardly anything because they did not expect the Club Extreme owner to put up such a fight. They did not expect it from him. He was a heavyset guy, young, but they didn't think he would move and fight the way he fought. And again, as I said to you, they were all friends. They knew him. They knew Dale Hinds. They knew him. He knew them. He recognized them. There was recognition. He heard voices. He knew what was happening. And instead of telling you his last words, because then you will look to certain people, but his last words were Patrick King. Patrick King. That was one of the names he called. He did call Aaron Trust also. He did call those names. But they killed that guy, and the money was not what they thought it was going to be. And Patrick King spilled his guts when the police picked him up. He spilled his guts on his best buddy, his friend. They rolled together for years. They were rolling together. And Patrick King left him in prison, left him in the jail to fend for himself. And a couple of days later, he was dead. A couple of days later, Aaron Trust Williams was dead. And the information that he had died with him. The information that he had died with him. He was dealt a blow, okay? He was dealt a blow by the time Patrick King came into that station to give testimony when they were investigating him. By the time Patrick King was there and left, Aaron Trust Williams was dealt a blow. Okay, Patrick King may be diminutive, he may be a short guy, but do not underestimate him. Do not underestimate him. This is Sherry Veronica.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.